Well, I guess the only way for me to actually get a hold of a lawyer to go after these sheriffs in this city or this county uh, is to have them hurt me, injure me. I mean, that's the only way I'll be able to get justice against them. There's really not any civil rights lawyers that'll go out their way and help you fight against them for violating your rights, or for them violating my rights. I can't go after them like that. I mean, all I see is lawyers all, oh, have you been injured? That's all they're fighting for, because that's where the money is. It's when someone's been injured by the cops or the sheriffs or the troopers, or I guess that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll just sit there and I'll invoke my rights, and then when they want to get violent and they hurt me, I'll have a lawsuit for injury. I won't be violent. I won't fight back, violently back towards them. I can resist, but I don't have to fight back against them to where they can't say, well, he was hitting us, he was fighting back. Nope. They got body cams. And I can just tell them, you can get violent with me if you want to, if you want to go that route. That way, it's the only way I can go after y'all for violating my rights, be able to get an actual lawyer that will take my case pro bono or until we win the case. They do it, they take the case and they go through it all until we win, and then the lawyer gets paid. And I'll get some money out of it. I guess that's the only way. I have them hurt me. I tell them, I'm not going to be violent. I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to fight you. I got no weapons on me. But if you want to get violent and help me bring charges toward y'all and have y'all looked at, have you put on the Brady list, then let's get violent. It's all your choice. It's all up to you. That's the only way for me to bring the light upon these so-called law enforcers. They have no authority over us. The only way they have authority over us is through the legal name. The legal name is the all caps name. It's on your birth certificate. Your last name, for older people, your last name is in all capital letters. If you have your original birth certificate, if you didn't have to get a new one. If you get a new one, they'll put your full name in all capital letters. And everything in that document will be capitalized. That's the legal name. That's what they have you under. And when you say, yes, that's me, that paper is the legal entity, the birth certificate. That license you get or ID from the state at the DPS, that's the legal entity. And when they say, is this you? Then this your address? And you say, yes, that's me. Well, you're saying that you are that legal entity. You are that card. All you have to do is hand them that card, say, I'm not that legal entity. I'm not that card. That's not me. That was given to me by the state, and the state created it. It was given to me to use, to have, to give to you, whatever. But that's not me. I don't consent to claiming that to be me. When you run that name, that's not my name. It's in all capital letters. That's not my name. It's a legal entity. I am a living, breathing, natural person. I'm not a legal entity person. They know what that is. They'll play dumb. They'll play stupid. They're all taught this stuff because a lot of people's waking up to it. And so they have to tell them, play dumb, act like you don't know this. But you don't do what they want. You sit there and you have no authority over me. You have authority over that card, that legal name, the legal entity, but you don't have any authority over me unless I claim that that is me. What's your name? Well, they're actually looking for you to pronounce the name that sounds just like the legal name they have. And if you don't give it to them the way, like normal, the way you write your name normally, and the way you give it out to people, you change it. Even if you have to write it down and say, this is my name, clan of your last name, house of your last name, and and the rest of your name. It's clan of, house of, comma, then your first name, hyphen, which is the dash, and then if you got a middle name, your middle name, and then you put the colon. If you don't have a middle name, you don't use the hyphen, you use the colon after your first name. So it's your clan of, house of. There's 3 different ones. You don't use the surnames like Sir or Mr., Mrs., Miss. That all puts you in their legal system. That's what legal entities are called. Persons, legal entity persons. That's what they're called. Mr., Mrs., brothers, sisters. They actually have legal names being used everywhere, even in churches. The legal entity name or labeling. And the legal entity name, which is the way you write your name and say your name to everybody else. Anybody and everybody. You got to correct the record. You got to get a passport. You got to call yourself, you got to say you live in the country. When I ask what country you live in, you have to put America. America is a country that exists. If they deny your passport, you should be able to know why they denied it. And if they said because you put America as a country, and then America's not a country, America don't exist, I'm not an American living in America, and that would be your proof right there that they're saying America don't exist as a country. The country that is America don't exist. You live in America. You don't live in a United States federal corporation, the government. The government is the United States. And all the states were corporatized to be a part of that United States federal corporation. And so they are all corporatized. They're all corporate states. All of the so-called judicial courts, all these courts are corporations. They were corporatized in 2008. Corporations cannot practice law. So inside those corporations, they're still being called courts, court of law. Well, they're illegally and unlawfully practicing law in their courts or corporations. They're not courts. They're corporations. They're tribunal corporations now. And they're out to do business with you, the legal entity, the corporation, the all caps. You're a corporation. They can only do business with a corporation. Can only do business with a corporation, a legal entity, which is what their corporation is too. They can't do business with a living, breathing person unless you contract through them or to them. You sign a contract. Yes, I'll do business with you. I'll follow all your policies and regulations and mandates and ordinances and edicts and whatever. Rules. Well, if you never did that, you don't have to obey them. You don't have to do what they want. You got to know who you are and what you're not. You're a living, breathing person. You're not a legal entity. This is where they get you. Yeah, that's my birth certificate. Yeah, that's my social security number. Yeah, that's my ID. That name on there is mine. That card, that's me. That's where they get you. You have to stop saying that that's you. You have to tell them plain and simple. I gave you that what you wanted, but that's not me. That card is not me. The card is a legal entity, and the name on it is a legal entity created by the state. And I know you know this, and I know you're going to play stupid to it because people's waking up to it and winning in court when they get their cases dismissed or dropped. And so they have to tell you about this to even protect you from everybody that's learning this stuff and practicing it. If we don't practice what keeps us safe from them to protect our rights, we lose. We have no rights. We're slaves. The birth certificate and the social security number, it turns you into a slave and puts you under involuntary servitude, where you now serve them as a corporation. You've said, I contract with you because, yes, that's me. I'm a corporation. And so then they can give you a ticket to make money. Or they can take you to jail to make money. Because they'd fine you when they throw you in jail to make money. They charge you for everything that they give you while you're in jail. Blanket, something to lay on, shoes, clothing. If you stay in there longer than overnight or the day. Yeah, they charge you all this stuff, and then you got to pay it. Because you say that's you. You're the corporation. You're the legal entity. You have to go in there in the court if you've already gotten in trouble and you say, well, I'm not this legal. You take your birth certificate, you take your driver's license or your ID, and you walk into court, maybe even your social security card. You walk into court and you say, I surrender all of this to you. I am not the legal entity right there. That piece of paper and that card and those cards, that's the legal entity. The name on those is the legal entity. I am not a legal entity. I'm a living, breathing person. I'm not a legal entity person or a person that's a legal entity. To be seen as a corporation, an individual, a person, a monster. Look up what a human is. You're not a human. A human is to them and defined in Black's Law Dictionary and in their United States codes and in their Code of Federal Regulations states plain and clear, a human is a monster. So a monster is called a male or female. Not a boy, not a girl, not a man, not a woman. They're male and female. That's what you call animals. They see you as an animal also. They label monsters, and animals by gender, male and female. There is no little boy, little girl, or anything like that. A man, because it's grown up. A woman, because you don't call them that. You don't call a grown male dog a man. That's a man there. No, you call that's a male. That's a woman there. No, you call it a female. Or the B word. That's what you call it. So, that's how the system works. That's how they got you. You're under slavery through involuntary servitude. You're forced to involuntarily serve them as a slave. So stop saying that that's your name. Stop letting them believe that you're a legal entity rather than a living, breathing person. A living, breathing being created by God. When you step out of that, of their jurisdiction, where they claim you as what they want, you're free. So that's what I'll be doing when I finally go into court. If they get me first, and I go through the first part, and then I got to go see the state judge, I'll have all that with me at the arraignment, and I'll tell them straight up, here's the legal entity you're looking for. I surrender this to you. I'm not the legal entity. You can hold on to these things for however long you sentencing the legal entity for. 6 months jail, whatever. 6 months probation, and they take the money out of the Social Security account that has the legal entity name on that Social Security account. There is money in that. If they want the money, they get it out of that. They're going after the legal person. They're not actually going after you. They can only go after you because you say, yep, that's me. I'm that legal entity, that legal person, that legal individual, that corporation. And so they can do business with you and take money from you, throw you in jail for stupid stuff where you did not create a victim. Everything's a crime. Even things that you didn't bother somebody else's rights. You didn't deprive anybody else of their rights. You didn't assault someone because they said something to you that they have a right to say. First Amendment, the law of the Constitution, or the Bill of Rights. They have the right to say whatever they want, call you whatever they want, put you down however they want, and as much as they want, and you can't touch them until they physically assault you or damage your property in the process. Then you can go back at them. Then you can defend yourself and your property. You can't do it when it's just words. That's the problem. Everybody wants to hurt someone because they said something they don't like. The cops do it all the time. They're above the law. You call them a piece of shit, or, a JBTP, or, a piggy, or, you flip them off. Well, they can get their feelings hurt. When they get their feelings hurt or they get embarrassed, they can attack you and hurt you. They don't get in trouble. They're above the law. They don't lose their gun rights. They don't lose their job. They don't go to jail. They're above the law. They're the sovereign citizens. They can shoot someone, and even if it's cold-blooded murder, they don't go to jail immediately, lose their guns. Give me your guns. You're going to jail. You're losing your job. Oh, no, they get a vacation. And they get to keep their guns. And me, if I did anything like that, I'd be in jail. I'd get all my guns. They come to my home and they take all my guns with a warrant. They don't do that to cops. A sovereign citizen states, plain and clear, is above the law. Can't get in trouble. All of us, all the auditors out there, I'm not an auditor. I don't claim to be an auditor. All I'm doing is proving that we're all slaves. That's the only thing I'm doing. I'm not out there recording cops like an auditor and running around trying, auditing cops, and I'm not one of them. That's when you call me an auditor, or you place me amongst one of those as an auditor, that's defamation of character. until I claim to be an auditor, or what these other stupid idiots would call a frauditor. There's no fraud in it. They're just out recording cops and recording what they're doing. They're not fraudulently somehow with AI or whatever making stuff up. My throat kind of dry or something. It's like it's itchy. But yeah. Until you get away from all that and you go and you surrender all that back to the state, they can do what they want to you. So if you don't have any of that, anyone watching this, you don't have a license or a state driver license, ID of any sort, but you have a birth certificate and a social security card, and you're not, and you're able to go to work and make plenty of money, and you can save money. Don't stop saving money. Keep saving money and prepare and stock up and surrender all that stuff back to them. Just go into a court and surrender it all back to them. Just tell them, I don't want this. I don't consent to any of this. I never signed a contract to have any of this. I was never given that choice, that the right to volunteer to become a resident of the state. Because that's what the birth certificate is. It's created by the state. It turns you into a resident of that state that you were born in when your parents sign it. Your parents sign you away over to the state and turn you into a legal entity that they can take. And that's what a marriage license does too. But it don't matter anyways. That birth certificate gives the state the right to take you from your parents. It gives them ownership of you. Your parents are just your babysitters, your guardians, your caretakers. That's all they're turned into once that birth certificate's signed. Because they could just come in and take you. Oh, we think this and that. We assume this and that. We're under the presumption of this and that, so we can just take kids. More and more people are fighting against this stuff. And when everyone finds out they have no authority over us, they have no authority, period. They don't have any documentation that says that they have authority over just me. Through a contract that I signed, giving them that authority. They don't have it. They got to produce it. The burden of proof is on the judge's, or in the judge's hands, the prosecutor's hands. Where's your burden of proof of contract that I signed with the state to become a resident of the state? Where's your burden of proof of a contract that I signed to become a U.S. citizen like the immigrants do when they come across and they go through the immigration system and they sign a contract with the United States government to one day get to become an actual U.S. citizen and get the privilege to live in America? Because they don't become an American. They become a U.S. citizen. There are no documents you can look at and say, that ask you, are you a U.S. citizen, or are you American, or are you from another country, or put down what other country you're from? You can't claim to be an American. That birth certificate and social security number turns you into a U.S. citizen and a resident of the state that is owned and controlled by the corporate government, because they're all turned into corporations. State of Texas, state of Louisiana, that's a corporate name that ties them to the United States. That's why it has state of, Well, the United States Federal Corporation is actually, I believe, actually of the states that were corporatized. We actually live in territories called Texas, the state, Louisiana, the state, California, the state. They don't want you to know this. That's natural state territories. The other is corporate. Uh, I don't know, just corporations. They're not natural. They were imagined up and allowed to exist, and then the businesses were created. America, this whole country's ran by corporations. The United States government is a corporation. Even though we say it's a government, it's not an actual government. The original government's in Pennsylvania. Look it up. The original United States of American government, or the government of the United States of America, is in Pennsylvania. And then you have the United States Federal Corporation in Washington, D.C. And they have us in under that, rather than the government of the United States of America. You can go there and find it. It's a building. It exists. So, I guess I'm going to leave it at that. But we're not a legal entity. That's what they have us as. And as long as you consent to just being that without signing a contract, well, they have authority over you. They have power over you and your property, and you own nothing. You don't own your children. You don't get to fully control them and raise them however you want. You're controlled. You're a corporation. You're a slave under involuntary servitude to serve them, not yourself. You all take care. Bye.